Rev up your engines! Today I got a very interesting car, a 2020 Corolla Hatchback. If you wondered what happened to the Toyota Matrix, well, it morphed into this, but Toyota was too embarrassed to call it the Toyota Matrix. Here's my wife's 07 Matrix, made in Cambridge, Ontario. Originally they were called Toyota Corolla Matrixes. They shortened it to Matrix. Then they didn't make it anymore. And then I guess Toyota realized people don't all want big giant SUVs, they like little ones too. So they came up with the Toyota Corolla Hatchback. And really, other than the back being at a steeper angle so there's not as much room, it's just a modernized version of the Matrix. Upgraded stuff. It does have less space inside because they went more for style. The big Mazda type style, instead of having a little more up forward with more room inside. Now, the guy bought this one used because he did not want a CVT transmission. He was going to buy a brand new one, and the only thing they offer is CVT. But this is a 2020. They had nice manual transmissions with 6 speeds. So that's what he got. Now today, unfortunately, all the Corollas only come in the United States with the CVT transmission. I'm not personally a fan. They're cheaper to make. Now my son has a Corolla S with the CVT, loves it. Lots of pickup, he says, gets great gas mileage. I don't like them because they are cheaper to make. I don't particularly like the way they feel. So if I had to get a new car, if somebody smashed into one of our Toyotas or a Lexus, I would be in a quandary because I really like this car. Fit a lot of stuff in it. We moved back between Tennessee and Rhode Island, but I can only get it in a CVT, where that would probably make me end up buying either a RAV4 with a conventional 4-cylinder engine or a Toyota Camry with a conventional 4-cylinder engine, because they still have conventional automatic transmissions. Now you might wonder, how come those still have the automatics and these are CVTs? Well, the answer is simple, really, because the CVTs are cheaper to make and this is a less expensive car. You'll notice that more expensive cars today, most of them still have real automatic transmissions. They don't have CVT transmissions in them because the people don't like the way they feel, the way they go. And since the Toyota automatic transmissions last so long, why you'd want to switch to a CVT transmission is beyond me. But you would have no choice today. If you get a standard, it's going to have to be a used one. If you want a new one, it's going to be a CVT. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Toyota makes the best CVT transmissions in the world. But still, I just don't personally like them. They are cheaper to make, and of course, if something's cheaper to make, generally they don't last as long. They make the CVTs for better gas mileage, right? Well, this guy's got the 6-speed. If he's driving 50 miles an hour, he's gotten over 50 miles a gallon. Now, he normally drives it, like when he came here, 80, 85 miles an hour, but he's still got 41 miles a gallon because manual transmission. A CVT in one of these will not get 50-something miles a gallon. They're rated at 41. This one gets 41 going 85, but going 50, 55, they can get over 50 miles a gallon. There's a big advantage to having standard transmissions, or manual transmissions, than there is having a CVT. The CVTs, yeah, they're efficient, but only to a point. When you look under the hood, we have Toyota's modern 4-cylinder engine. It is a 2-liter engine, and it is Toyota's masterpiece of design that it's got regular fuel injectors, and it also has GDI fuel injectors. That's how this thing can get 50 miles a gallon going 55 miles an hour with a standard transmission. It puts out more horsepower than the Matrix. The Matrix is only 126, and it's a 1.8-liter engine with just conventional fuel injection. Hey, I mean, the thing is 17 years old. They certainly go forward in time. You got more horsepower, and you get better gas mileage, so you really can't beat that. Now, this is a baby. He's only got 28,000 miles on it. He bought it used. He's done nothing but change the engine oil and filter. Toyota, I had that RAV4 Prime here the other day. It had 160, and the only thing the guy changed on it was the engine oil and filter and the air filter. You know, I mean, these things are well made. There's no arguing that. Of course, when you look at the old Matrix from 07, this 2020 is quite a bit more stylish. You know, there's no arguing that. Yeah, it's got a little bit smaller trunk in the back, but it's got a lot more style to it. As we look inside, it's got more comfortable bucket seats, and I personally go for plain old upholstery. This stuff will last forever. Now, as you can see, the back seat, yes, it's smaller than the Matrix. The Matrix has much more legroom because this is a little bit less squat vehicle, but don't think it's a tinny-made car. It's a pretty solid built car. As you can see, as we open the door, where was this baby made? Made Japan. That's what you want. You get a car in this price range that's made in Japan that'll probably last 300, 400, 500,000 miles. It certainly would be a wise choice for you. Now, of course, 96% of Americans drive automatic transmissions, so most people are going to buy the CVT transmission. Like I said, Toyota does probably make the best CVT transmissions in the world. They're not like the Jatco crap that Nissan manufactures and puts in lots of other manufacturers' cars. They buy the transmissions from them, put it in their own models. They're not that Jatco garbage. They're Aisin, Toyota makes them, and they are good for what they are. They're just cheaper to make, and from my experience, they do not last as long. I have seen, like this Matrix, which really is a Toyota Corolla Matrix, right? Corollas, Camrys, automatic transmissions, 500,000 miles. All they did was change the fluid and filter every once in a while, and they were still shifting pretty good. They're gonna last a long time. Why they go to CVTs? They don't last as long. It's just a fact. You know, I mean, they don't want to build cars that last forever. Although, maybe this 6-speed manual transmission will last forever. But as I said, you can't buy them anymore. They don't sell them in the United States. They only sell the CVTs. Wonder where he found this used Toyota. He bought it at a Ford dealer. He listened to me, you know. I tell people, go to a different dealer and buy their other cars that they took as trade-ins, because they can't give you this best car in the world stuff because it was a Ford dealer. They don't want their salesmen putting down Fords because that's what their business is, right? So, hey, it's a good way to buy them. Okay, now, even the owner doesn't like to push to start, but that's what it came with, so everything is that way these days. So we will turn it on. We're not going to start it because we're going to analyze it. Detected it, okay. We got a Toyota. Standalone diagnosis, and pretty fast because it's a new car. Now it does the topology, does all the CAN system, so as it's scanning, we'll take a look around. Now, yes, it has the electric parking brake, which I don't like, but they're all going to that crap. And it does have that screen that to me is a little intrusive. It kind of looks like they glued it in instead of building it in. It's like an afterthought. You know, they could have done a little bit better job integrating. It works fine and everything, but to me, it's kind of a distraction. And of course, it's got all the bells and whistles for intelligent cruise control. Things to control on your steering wheel. Nice shaped steering wheel. A little chrome and black. Black interior. Doesn't have a sunroof. It's a Corolla. It does have codes, but I don't think it's going to be much of anything because the big things are all green. The telematics. Well, let me tell you, telematics, yeah, I can tell you things about that. Too much telematics, too much of this wireless communications, and things often screw up. We'll see what this says. User all communication codes. Lost communication with body control. Missing message. Lost communication with instrument panel cluster. Missing message. Lost communication with navigation control. Module missing message. You get all kinds of information about that. Lost communication with body control module. The BCM is not receiving or sending a signal. The harness could be weak. Yet everything's working on this car. This is the problem with all modern cars. They have so much baloney communication going on that even a Toyota has 3 stupid little codes for lost communication. I see this all the time, more and more, even in Toyotas. It doesn't mean anything whatsoever. Now, he bought this thing used. A lot of times, when they sat on the lot, if the battery got too low, guess what happens? The BCM loses communication because the voltage is too low. So it could easily been that. Now, we're just going to erase it before we take it for a road test, because it easily could have been just low battery voltage. See, it erased it, so it's not a permanent code. Now, we're going to start her up, and we're going to look at data system. So, here we go to the main data. 27,862 miles, so it's not lying. That's what it says here. Nobody set the odometer back or anything. Mass airflow sensor doing good. Remember, it's color coded. Red would be bad. Alternator's charging good. Gives all the information for the electronic throttle in case it has a problem. It's all black and good data. This doesn't have any problems. Shows you the BM voltage, the module, and hey, you know, it's fine. It's not like it's running out of electricity now. I'm assuming the battery was just low from it sitting on a lot to trip those codes. See, the high side, it does have the GDI. It shows you the target fuel pressure, and it even shows you what's going on with the regular fuel injectors too, the port fuel injectors. It shows you how many grams of fuel it's using per second. And there's a lot of data on these things. And of course now it's idling, so it shows you that it's the port mode. If we were driving around, it would switch back to the GDI back and forth. It's a rather complex system, but when it's working, it works quite well. Valve timing information, that's all fine too. Shows you the temperature of the catalytic converter. Shows you that it has 0 misfire counts, which isn't surprising. These things can run forever. Information, as you can see, goes on and on and on. It even shows you the electric water pump speed, the actual speed versus the target speed, and it's pretty close. 800, 775 RPMs. Here's a lot of information. Something ever does go wrong, a guy like me with a machine like that's going to be able to pinpoint it fast. Here we go. We got to turn the parking brake off and get the interlock, put it in reverse. And although I don't like where the screen is, it's a nice big screen, so backing up is pretty easy with this thing. And as you can see here, he was driving 85 miles an hour, so we only got 41.3 miles a gallon coming here. Now here comes the test of the Rhode Island, horrendous roads, all bumpy, and really, I gotta say, for a car this small, it takes these bumps pretty good. Hey, it's taking them better than the last Honda I tried out. It was a lot stiffer, and this actually has a pretty good ride. I got to admit, it probably rides about 200% better than my Matrix, which bounces all over the place, but it runs forever. Now, they've really changed the suspension on this modern one. It rides much better than the Matrix. It's much higher tech than the old one. It still handles really well too, but it's a lot smoother ride. We're waiting for things to clear out. They're clearing out. Here we go. Yep, you heard a little rubber going there. Hey, it's a zippy little car. Realize it is a manual transmission. The CVTs are not zippy like this. Nowhere near as zippy. This is a lot more fun to drive. The manual transmission. That handles great, smooth ride, really. This thing has a range of more than 500 miles if you take it conservative. They can go a long way in between filling it up. You do not get range anxiety with this car at all. The only people who get range anxiety are the guys who own the gas stations, and they're mad because you don't stop in and buy gas very often. Well, guess what? These things sell like hotcakes because people do want little ones, and they found that out, and now they went back to making them in Japan. So at least from that perspective, these are still made in Japan. The best made cars. And for the price of these, you can get your hand on one of them. But like I said, if you don't want a CVT, you gotta get an older one, because they only had the manual transmissions up to a couple years ago. Then they all went to CVTs and the Corollas. Not a fan. I mean, they're still good CVTs as far as CVTs go, but you know, I don't like them. I would either get this or I would get a RAV4 or a Camry that still has a real automatic transmission, because there's a reason they still have real automatic transmissions in those, because people like the way they drive. They still get phenomenal gas mileage. Yes, it costs more money to make an automatic transmission. They're more complex, but as far as I'm concerned, they're better than the CVTs. These things are generally anywhere from 15 to 20 grand less than the price of an average new car these days if you buy it new. So you're getting a pretty good deal if you're looking for something like this, if you can find it. A lot of the dealers are marking them up $5,000, $10,000. So if you're looking at one, you can't find it in your area. Custer in Nashville did. They wanted too much in Nashville. He looked around. He found one 10 grand cheaper in Boulder, Colorado. So he flew out there, went skiing, and came back with his new Corolla. There's nothing wrong with doing that either. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.